On Wednesday, I went for a walk along the river to see if I might just find a secret place of my own to spend time with God. There's a place as Christians that we can hide out, and our verse from Psalm 91:1 says it's under the shadow of the Almighty. So when I sneak off with God for a walk along the river, or if I sneak off with God just in my very house someplace, it's not about pursuing a casual time with God. It's about having a very close and deepening encounter with our awesome and most high God. It's about getting to know God more. Well, there weren't very many people by the river. I felt like I had it all to myself, just me and God. So on this day, down by the river, I sang worship songs and prayed out loud, as loudly as I wanted to. The air was crisp, but it wasn't cold, and the air was still. The only noise I could hear came from the water flowing down the river. Do you know that sound? There was barely any snow left and just a little ice along the edge of the river. Around one corner I had a perfect view of our Rocky Mountains. While I stood there, the sun shone bright and warm on my face. It made me happy, and I shone a great big smile back in its direction, because I knew that God was near. Around the next corner was a rocky river's edge. I sat for a while and stacked a few rocks, and God showed his glory all around me. His creation appeared to be worshiping God too. I continued to sit with a thankful heart for this time, to just be alone with God. I began thinking about a Bible verse we read last week. Be still and know that I am God. Do you remember this one? It's from Psalm 46:10. It's hard for me sometimes to be still, but somehow in this moment, I realized that God had brought the still to me. I received this as a great gift, and I thanked him, and then asked if he would please tell me marvelous things that I did not know. I wanted to hear God's voice. I wanted to continue to feel him near to me and to know him in a deeper way. I talked to God. I shared my heart. I told him what I was scared about, and I told him about some things that had been making me feel sad. I told him how much I loved getting to be with all of you kids on Sundays, and how proud I was of my own children. And then I was quiet for a while. And then right there by the river's edge, God shared his heart with me. El Elyon reminded me that he measures the universe with his very hand, and that nothing is too big for him to handle. He reminded me that just like a snowflake, he made me uniquely me, that he knows me and he loves me. He even likes me. Those things I told him that I was afraid of, well, somehow now they didn't seem as scary anymore. And those things that were making me sad, well, God gave me a new way to look at each situation. God showed me that the more still I can be in my body, mind, and heart, the better I can hear his voice. The more still I can be, the more I can see God's activity in my life. The more still I can be, the smaller my problems seem, and the bigger God appears. And well, the more still I can be, the more I can be like our Romans 1:20 verse tells us. Understand his invisible qualities, his eternal power, and his divine nature. The more still I am, the better able I am to hear new and marvelous things from God. And the more still I can be, the more I can know God intimately. El Elyon is teaching me that intimacy with him is not just about making our bodies still, but it's also about asking God to help us make our minds still, so that our hearts can be still, so that we can open wide to hear the very heart of God. I'm going to be honest with you. For me, and well, most of us probably, being still and being quiet, or even finding a quiet place sometimes feels sort of hard. Even when we're able to find a quiet place, it can still be difficult to find stillness inside of us or to quiet our thoughts. And so for this next month, we're going to continue to search the Bible to see what God's design of rest is. And then we're going to take time to practice, all of us together, all in pursuit of a deeper, richer, more intimate encounter with our living God.